So when it comes to our gut, let's talk about some wellness around our gut, because again, our gut is not only a brain for decision making, but it's our immune system. It's a really, really important part of being wise and of being well. So with our gut, food and hydration are really important. What you put into your body is very important for your wisdom and your wellness. So what kinds of things do we have to be aware of? Well, first of all, water is very important, but not all water is the same. You know, oftentimes tap water has too much chlorine in it for our gut to be happy and well and wise. And so drinking purified water is really important, or glass bottled water. Now, plastic bottled water is not so good because that plastic can really change the hormones in our gut. And it's important to have about 8 glasses of water a day. So continually hydrating yourself, not, oh, I'm gonna drink 2 glasses of water in the morning and I'll have a couple at noon and a couple at dinner, a couple before I go to bed. No, it's more important to hydrate yourself throughout the whole day. And the experts say that should you come across the virus, if you're not dehydrated and you're drinking water, that will actually help to flush it out. So it's really a key element in our wellness. Food is too. Not all food is the same. So we want to stay away from things like sugar, processed food. A lot of the things we love, right? And what we want to do is we want to be eating things like sauerkraut is one of the best things for your immune system, for your gut. Go figure, right? Fruits, vegetables. Vegetables are huge. Whole grains are big. So let me just read to you just a few things in terms of what you would want to know in terms of your types of food that would be good for you. So foods to boost gut health would be freshly made sauerkraut. I mentioned that, right? Tea, black tea, kombucha, Kombucha is a great tea for your gut. Oranges are a great fruit. Vegetables like artichokes, lentils, onions, soybeans, leeks, asparagus are especially good, but all vegetables are good. Grass-fed butter is the better kind of butter to have for your gut. If you're gonna have dessert, go ahead, have dark chocolate. That was kind of a happy thing to learn. Dairy, cultured yogurt. Spices, garlic, really good for your gut and your immune system. And then when it comes to foods to avoid foods with antibiotics. So if you're gonna be eating meat and fish, it's better to have organic. Fried foods, red meat, processed and packaged junk food, food high in sugar, limited refined carbs, dairy products, refined oil, and baked goods. So this just gives you an idea of how you can really take care of your gut. So the question is, how well do you want to be? Is it worth the sacrifice for you? Now, another practice to wellness is movement. Movement is really important. And I don't want to even use the word exercise. I want to use the word movement, because our body retains our emotions. So there's a saying that says your issues are in your tissues. Your issues are in your tissues. Now that's why yoga has become super, super popular. Because when we do these yoga moves, what's happening is we're burning the muscles in certain areas as we're breathing deeply into our body, and we're releasing those emotions, those issues in our tissues. But you don't have to do yoga, quite honestly. I talk to people who are runners and they're like, that's my form of yoga. I get running and I start breathing deeply and I'm focusing on something and I'm, my legs are burning, my core is being used, I'm using my shoulders. That makes sense to me. Or cyclers, right? Or people who walk briskly, they're moving their body. They're even moving their core, right? And if they're working on their breath when they're doing it, it's a double bonus for them. So while I like yoga as a practice of movement, I think any kind of movement is great. Even vigorous house cleaning. You're bending over, you're using your arm, you're vacuuming back and forth. Hey, that's movement. So anything you can do for movement is great for the gut. It's great for the body because we're moving the issues in the tissues. Now in my book, The Yogi Executive, I do happen to show some yogi poses that you can do right at your desk at home, your desk at home or your desk at work. And they're awesome poses that you could integrate with your breathing. So it's really neat. So another practice is to ground yourself in nature. You can see here that I love water. I love water because there's something about water that just calms me. And so even if I'm inside by the water and I look at it, suddenly my breathing becomes deeper into my body. And I feel more integrated with my gut, heart, and head. Other people, they say, oh yeah, for me, it's when I take a walk in the woods, or it's just being about greenery, or it's getting my hands in the dirt and doing gardening. Honor whatever that is for you. But there's something about nature that makes us breathe more deeply, that brings us back to our essence and gets us out of our head. Even though our head is a brain and we give honor to it to assimilate the knowing of our gut, our heart, and information in our head to assimilate to make wise decisions. Oftentimes we're way too much up here and not enough in our body. And nature brings us back to our body, to our essence and our wholeness. So that's another big wellness practice, is that. So those are 8 wellness practices that I wanted to share with you. Again, if you want to see those poses and read more about those practices, you can find that in my Yogi Executive book. You can also go over to my website, Biz Remedies, and we have a Yogi Executive program. It's really cool. So if you look at programs under our website, you'll find it. And we'll have more on wellness for you as well, because we're going to have experts that are on here on our panels talking about recipes to cook to be well. They're going to be talking about your gut and medical things that you need to know, tests that you can take to know how your immune system is doing, and all that good stuff. So be wise and well until then.